Yeah, it's crazy. Like, a WrestleMania without the Undertaker, and not talking about WrestleMania 2000, where the Undertaker was injured and out. That was the only WrestleMania in his career, as far as his career wise, that he was not at WrestleMania. So he was absent from that WrestleMania. But talking about the Undertaker and his streak, which was a very big part of WrestleMania. One of the only reasons that people actually watched WrestleMania was because of the Undertaker streak. Really, it was. Like, who's going to end the streak? Will the streak end? That manipulation, WWE logic with people, how to manipulate people into thinking, maybe the Undertaker will lose this year. Maybe he'll lose this year. Who will end the streak? Who will he face? Was always a question. And at WrestleMania 30, when the Undertaker faced Brock Lesnar and lost, I thought that was the end of wrestling. I was shocked. And the crazy thing about it was I was actually watching WrestleMania 30 on my computer, and then I fell asleep watching it. So I didn't even get to see it live. I remember I looked at the results. I was like, oh, wow, Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker. I wish I had saw it. Well, the only moment in wrestling in which I don't get to see it is a really big moment that I wish I saw. Being unlucky watching wrestling all these years. But believe it or not, The Undertaker wanted the streak to end for years and years and years. He even offered it to Mark Henry to end the streak, or Randy Orton. He's been wanting to retire for a long, long time. And I think he's talked to Vince about it, and they've convinced him not to, want to end the streak kind of thing. I mean, I thought after WrestleMania 28 that was going to be The Undertaker's last match. After that Hell in a Cell match with Triple H, and beforehand having feuds with Shawn Michaels, I thought WrestleMania 28, when he was 20-0 at WrestleMania, I thought that was going to be the end of the Undertaker. I thought they were going to have no more matches. But then next year he faced CM Punk, and I knew CM Punk was not going to defeat The Undertaker, although that was the match of the night. This is a guy his age, with all the injuries he's had, having the match of the night against CM Punk. That says a lot. But talking about The Undertaker and his accomplishments. And the thing is, from what I heard, The Undertaker doesn't want to be just remembered for the streak. And looking at his accomplishments right now, WCW Tag Team Champion, one time with Kane. That was in 2001. He was a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion and a 4-time WWE Champion, a Hardcore Champion, and a 6-time Tag Team Champion. And he won the 2007 Royal Rumble. He has had quite a lot of accomplishments. He was never the Intercontinental Champion, never won King of the Ring. But, I would say I always liked the badass Undertaker. That was one of my favorite gimmicks of the Undertaker, was the whole badass thing. I thought the whole gothic, dead man gimmick was played out. And I really enjoyed his run in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Then he turned back to the dead man, which was cool. After all those years of the gimmick being gone, for him to come back and face Kane at WrestleMania 20, which that was all we for WrestleMania 20 we were pumped. What's the Undertaker gonna look like? What's his hair is gonna be growing out and everything, and will he wear a suit? That type of thing. Because Kane had buried the Undertaker alive at Survivor Series in 2003 when he was facing Vince McMahon in a buried alive match, and Kane interfered. And that's where that rivalry started. Kane's promos about the Undertaker being a fraud and how, this guy wasn't a monster, that kind of thing. And Undertaker and Kane had feuds later on. They actually had another Hell in a Cell match. Or they had a Hell in a Cell match and other matches, and guess what? The Undertaker got buried alive again because of the Nexus, which was a storyline which they never finished. He was supposed to face Wade Barrett at WrestleMania 27, and that never happened. Triple H took that spot because of Triple H's ego. Triple H faced The Undertaker 3 times at WrestleMania. The Undertaker has defeated every big member of DX and every member of Evolution at WrestleMania, is another fact. The Undertaker being 52 years old. And Ric Flair, he was old when he wrestled. But The Undertaker had gone through so many injuries throughout his career. I think he had his whole hip replaced kind of thing. He was going through a divorce, all sorts of things like that. He had a lot of health issues. especially what I heard about as far as WrestleMania 30 goes. When he faced Brock Lesnar, he was in a lot of pain, and they took him to the hospital, from what Paul Heyman says in an interview. And Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman all went there. They even missed out on Daniel Bryan becoming the WWE champion, just because the Undertaker was hurt so bad. He's from Houston, Texas. He had a pretty big career. He was a big star. But the thing about Undertaker is, now that his streak has ended, it's like, what's left for the Undertaker? You know, like, what could they do with him besides having Roman Reigns beat him, which I still don't agree with that. I wish he just never really faced Roman Reigns, honestly. I honestly wish that, it just ended the way it ended and there was no, another match. Even if that sounds kind of negative. Or if he had faced Sting, which they always wanted him to face Sting, but that never happened. Even when Sting was around, they still didn't do it. They still didn't have Sting versus The Undertaker. And some say the match would have probably sucked anyways, and I look at it like the nostalgia of the match. Maybe Sting could have been the guy to beat The Undertaker before he retired, or Undertaker beat Sting before he retired, type of thing. But Sting retired a year before The Undertaker had his last match, and The Undertaker, I don't know. This isn't about Undertaker possibly not having another match. I really don't know. But the point of this is, like, what's WrestleMania without The Undertaker? Triple H versus Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle versus Triple H. That's one of their ideas. Triple H versus Shane McMahon. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I don't know who John Cena's going to face. I don't know who Randy Orton's going to face. Really, I don't. I actually kind of enjoyed Seth Rollins' feud with Randy Orton, whatever, but that's that, I guess. Kind of a short-lived thing. I mean, the Shield, I don't think the Shield's going to be together that long. I mean, the Shield, now that Roman Reigns is the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will probably win back the Tag Team Champions, and they'll hold all the gold there, but now that I think about it, I don't even know who's going to win the Royal Rumble. And I don't know if The Undertaker will have another match, so I don't know what they would do with him, honestly. I don't know who The Undertaker will face if he was going to have another match. They thought about Braun Strowman versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. They thought about Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, but they already had that match. Well, Braun Strowman might become a champion very soon. A very dominant champion. And also, it's like, who would take The Undertaker's place? I was thinking that Baron Corbin could start having an undefeated streak at WrestleMania, but Dean Ambrose beat him. And he beat him in like it was a pre-show match. Like I was saying, maybe they need to have another streak at WrestleMania. But who deserves that kind of respect? The Undertaker is a rare talent. Just like AJ Styles. I mean, I wish I'd saw AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, even if The Undertaker beat AJ Styles. I mean, AJ Styles can make a match of Brock Lesnar look really good. Not saying Brock Lesnar isn't a great wrestler, but he's not the best wrestler. But there's actually a lot of people on the list who The Undertaker hasn't faced at WrestleMania. There's Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura. A lot of people right now they could choose from to face The Undertaker. Like, I wouldn't have minded maybe a Seth Rollins-Undertaker feud, make Seth Rollins a heel again, kind of like they did with Randy Orton in 2005, I believe. They had Randy Orton face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and then after that, I mean, Randy Orton was a phase, but then he became a heel after, he had his feud with The Undertaker. And he became a phase again eventually, but Randy Orton's phase run was very short-lived. Then he became a tweener. And Randy Orton's kind of a back-and-forth kind of character now. He's a heel, then he's a good guy, then he's a tweener, then you just don't know. But basically what I'm saying is, as far as WrestleMania goes, what is WrestleMania without The Undertaker? Like, what do we expect from The Undertaker? Being inducted into the Hall of Fame? That might be the only way we're going to see him at WrestleMania 34. I just don't know. What do you guys think? I think WrestleMania needs The Undertaker? Do we need another streak? Do we need someone to take his place? It's basically all I want to talk about. And Undertaker's accomplishments. But that's all I want to say about all that.